I am Kent, a 36-year-old software developer living in suburban Chicago, with my wife Allison and our two beautiful children, Emma and Luke, ages 6 and 4. For 8 years, our marriage seemed solid, built on shared dreams and everyday moments. That is, until last Tuesday when I came home from work to find half her clothes gone, the kids confused, and a cold note on our bed. I need space. Take care of the kids. No warning. No goodbye. Just emptiness where my wife should have been. Before I tell you how my world collapsed when my wife disappeared without warning, let me know where you are watching from, and hit subscribe if you have ever had someone you love vanish from your life. That Tuesday started like any other day in our household. I woke up at 6, went for my morning run, and returned to find Allison making breakfast for the kids. Looking back, she was unusually quiet, but I attributed it to her not being a morning person. Emma was chattering about her school art project, while Luke was constructing a precarious tower of cereal on his plate. Do not forget, Emma has soccer practice this afternoon. I reminded Allison as I grabbed my travel mug of coffee. She nodded without looking up from her phone. I kissed the kids goodbye, then leaned in to kiss Allison. She turned slightly so my lips landed on her cheek instead of her mouth. Again, nothing that seemed worth noting at the time. My workday was busy with back-to-back meetings about our upcoming software release. I texted Allison around lunch to ask if she needed me to pick up anything on the way home. No response, but that was not unusual when she was busy with the kids. When I pulled into our driveway at 5:30, I noticed an unfamiliar car. Inside, instead of finding Allison starting dinner as usual, I found Jenna, a college student who occasionally babysat for us. Emma and Luke were watching cartoons in the living room. "Oh, good you are home," Jenna said, relief evident in her voice. "Your wife called me around noon, said there was a family emergency and asked if I could watch the kids until you got home. She seemed really upset." My first thought was that something had happened to Allison's parents in Florida. Did she say what the emergency was? No. She just said she needed to leave right away and would explain later. Jenna gathered her backpack. She did seem in a hurry, though. After paying Jenna, I called Allison's cell phone, straight to voicemail. I checked our bedroom and felt a cold wave of dread. Her side of the closet was half empty. Dresser drawers partially cleared out. Her toiletries gone from the bathroom. On our bed was a plain white note card with just one sentence in Allison's handwriting. "I need space. Take care of the kids." My hands started shaking. This was not a family emergency. My wife had left us. Deliberately packed and left while I was at work and the kids were at school. The realization knocked the air from my lungs. "Daddy, where is Mommy Emma?" appeared in the doorway, her small face creased with concern. Jenna said she had to go somewhere important. How do you tell a 6-year-old that her mother abandoned her without warning? I forced a calm I did not feel. "Mommy needed to go away for a bit, sweetie. She had something she needed to take care of." "But when is she coming back?" Luke had joined his sister, clutching his favorite stuffed dinosaur. "I am not sure yet. Let us make some mac and cheese for dinner, okay?" I moved through the evening on autopilot, making dinner, supervising bath time, reading bedtime stories. Once the kids were asleep, I unleashed a tornado of frantic activity. I called Allison's parents, who were shocked and claimed no knowledge of any emergency. I called her closest friends, all of whom seemed strangely evasive. Something in their tones told me they knew more than they were saying. I spent that first night checking my phone every few minutes, jumping at every sound, hoping for any message or explanation. By morning, I called my parents, who immediately drove over to help with the kids. "She must have had a breakdown," my mother suggested, always looking for the most charitable explanation. People sometimes do irrational things under extreme stress. But as I reviewed the past weeks, a darker picture emerged. This was planned, not impulsive. Not a breakdown, but a calculated exit. When I called the police, they were sympathetic but clear. "She left voluntarily, sir. She is an adult, and she left a note. This is a domestic issue, not a missing person case." I spent that first day in a fog of confusion and hurt, trying to maintain normalcy for Emma and Luke while my world imploded. Their innocent questions about when Mommy would return felt like knives to my heart. By the second day, I needed answers. With my mother watching the kids, I began investigating my wife's disappearance, trying to piece together how my partner of 8 years could simply vanish. I started noticing patterns I had previously overlooked. For months, Allison had been emotionally distant, often lost in her phone. She had changed her passwords recently, something we had never done in our relationship before. Her girls' nights had become more frequent, and her weekend trips with friends seemed to generate suspiciously few photos or stories. Our joint bank account showed a pattern of cash withdrawals over the past month. $200 here, $300 there, totaling nearly $4,000. Money we could afford to lose, but the deception stung far worse than the financial hit. In her desk drawer, I found a credit card statement for an account I did not know existed. There were charges for a hotel in downtown Chicago from 3 separate weekends over the past 2 months. Weekends, when she had claimed to be at self-care retreats with her friends. My brother Jake came over that afternoon bringing food and practical support. While my parents took the kids to the park, he encouraged me to dig deeper. Something triggered this, Kent. People do not just walk away from an 8-year marriage and 2 kids without a catalyst. I recalled Allison joining a fitness class 6 months ago that quickly became the center of her social life. 3 classes per week had turned into fitness class plus smoothies after then fitness class plus dinner and drinks. Her physical appearance had changed: 2 new clothes, new hairstyle, more makeup than she had worn in years. I called her office and discovered another piece of the puzzle. Allison had requested 2 weeks of personal leave a week before her disappearance. Her supervisor assumed it was for the family vacation we had discussed taking this summer, but we had not yet booked anything. That evening, while sorting through papers in our home office, I found myself staring at our shared laptop. On impulse, I checked the saved passwords in her browser and discovered an email account I had never seen before. My hands trembled as I logged in. There it was, the missing piece: dozens of emails between Allison and someone named Trevor. As I read through them, the floor seemed to drop from beneath me. Trevor was an ex-boyfriend from college, recently separated from his wife. They had reconnected through social media 6 months ago, right around the time Allison joined that fitness class. Their correspondence started innocently enough, catching up on old times, but quickly progressed to flirtation, then explicit messages, then plans to meet. The fitness class was never real, just an alibi for their meetings. The most recent email was from the day before she left T. I cannot keep living this double life. Kent is a good man, and the kids are my world. But there is this emptiness I cannot explain. When we are together, I feel alive in a way I had forgotten was possible. I need to figure out if what we have is real or just an escape fantasy. I am going to take some time away to clear my head. Can I come to you just for a few days while I sort things out, eh? I sat frozen, reading and rereading those words, each one a hammer blow. 8 years of marriage, 2 children, countless memories, all potentially discarded for the excitement of an old flame. I called Megan, the friend Allison was supposedly closest to. After some evasion, she finally admitted knowing about Trevor. She made me promise not to tell you, Megan, said her voice small with guilt. She said she has felt trapped in this life for years. She needed to figure out if what she feels for Trevor is real, and abandoning her children without even saying goodbye was acceptable collateral damage. My voice shook with rage. Megan had no answer for that. By the 3rd night, the children's distress was escalating. Emma had become clingy and tearful, while Luke had regressed to thumb-sucking, a habit he had broken years ago. At bedtime, Emma asked the question I had been dreading: is Mommy gone? Because of something I did, I gathered her into my arms, fighting back my own tears. No, sweetheart, absolutely not. Mommy is dealing with some grown-up feelings that have nothing to do with you or Luke. She loves you both very much. The lie tasted bitter in my mouth. What kind of love allows you to walk away without even saying goodbye? That night alone in what had been our bedroom, I hit rock bottom. Everything I thought I knew about my marriage, about Allison, about our life together, seemed like a cruel illusion. I questioned every memory, every moment. Had she ever truly loved me? Was our entire relationship built on a foundation of lies? By the 4th day, something shifted inside me. The paralyzing shock gave way to a cold clarity. I could not control Allison's choices, but I could control how I responded to them. It was time to take action. I called my friend Michael, a family law attorney who agreed to meet me for lunch while my mother watched the kids. Document everything he advised. Her leaving the hotel receipts, the emails. This is abandonment. And while Illinois is a no-fault divorce, state judges take a very dim view of parents who walk out on their children. He helped me understand my rights and the likely path forward if Allison did not return. Your top priority needs to be the kids' welfare, he said. Establish a new normal for them as quickly as possible. That afternoon I received a call from Emma's teacher. My bright social daughter had broken down crying in class and refused to participate in activities. The teacher's gentle questions had revealed the situation at home. Children often blame themselves when a parent leaves, the school counselor explained during an emergency conference. They need constant reassurance and stability right now. I created a new daily routine for the kids, with consistent meal times, bedtimes, and activities. I took a week of emergency family leave from work to help them adjust. My sister Rachel flew in from Portland to help with childcare once I returned to the office. On the 5th day, I secured our finances. I did not clean out our accounts, as tempting as that was, but I did move half of our savings into a new account under my name only. I documented all our assets and began creating a budget for single parenthood. I called our insurance provider to understand how coverage for the children would work if we divorced. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with a text from Allison. I am safe. I need more time. My hands shook as I composed a measured response. The children are asking for you. They need their mother. When are you planning to see them? 3 hours later, she replied, I am not ready yet. I need to figure some things out. How are they doing? I sent her a recent photo of Emma and Luke at the park, but withheld details about their emotional struggles. She had forfeited the right to my vulnerability and that of our children. Allison's parents called distraught and confused. They wanted to come see the kids. I set clear boundaries. They were welcome, but I would not pretend for them that this was a temporary situation or an excusable absence. Your daughter abandoned her family. I told her father, my voice firm, despite his protests. I am not keeping her from the children. She chose to leave without saying goodbye. Later that day, I received an unexpected message on social media from a woman named Danielle. You do not know me, but I am Trevor's wife. I thought you should know they are staying together at his condo. We met for coffee the next day, two strangers united by betrayal. Danielle was hurt but composed, having suspected Trevor's infidelity for months before their separation. He told me he needed space to find himself, she said with bitter irony. Apparently finding himself involved finding your wife. For what it is worth, I do not think it will last. Trevor has a pattern of idealizing women, then getting bored once the chase is over. That evening, I made the difficult decision to tell the children a version of the truth. I gathered them on the couch, choosing my words carefully. Mommy is staying with a friend right now because she is trying to figure out some grown-up feelings, I explained. Sometimes adults need to take time away to think about things. This does not mean she does not love you, but it does mean she will not be home for a while. Is it like when I need a timeout? Luke asked innocently. I swallowed hard. Something like that, buddy. But for grown-ups, timeouts can last longer. That night after they were asleep, I started a journal to process my emotions away from their watchful eyes. I joined an online support group for spouses dealing with abandonment and found comfort in knowing I was not alone in this experience. My boss proved unexpectedly understanding, offering flexible work arrangements during the crisis. Family comes first, Kent. We will make it work. By the end of that first week, I reached a turning point. I would stop waiting for Allison to return and start rebuilding our lives without her. This was not the story I had chosen, but I would write the next chapters on my own terms. The 6th day, without Allison, brought unexpected clarity. As I settled the kids into our new morning routine, I realized we were surviving. Not thriving yet, but taking one day at a time and finding moments of joy despite the pain. That afternoon, Allison finally called. I stepped into the backyard to take the call, heart pounding. Kent, her voice sounded smaller than I remembered. I am sorry for leaving like that. I was not thinking clearly. What do you want, Allison? I kept my voice neutral, neither hostile nor welcoming. I need more time to sort things out, she said. Things with Trevor are complicated. The mention of his name sent a spike of anger through me, but I maintained my composure. The only thing we need to discuss is when you plan to see your children. They need their mother regardless of our marital status. She began to cry, the familiar sound that had always melted my resolve in the past. I am so confused, Kent. Nothing is working out like I thought it would. That tends to happen when fantasy collides with reality, I replied, surprising myself with my steadiness. We can meet at my parents' house tomorrow afternoon. The kids will be there and you can spend time with them in a neutral setting. And us. Can we talk about us? There is no us right now, Allison. You left. You chose someone else. You abandoned our children without even saying goodbye. We will eventually need to talk about divorce in custody, but right now my priority is helping Emma and Luke process your absence." Her sharp intake of breath told me she had not expected this response. Perhaps she had anticipated tears and pleas for her return. Perhaps she had kept me as a backup plan all along. "Trevor is not what I expected," she admitted. "I think I made a terrible mistake." Probably I agreed. "But that mistake is not mine to fix. You do not get to try out a new life and return if it does not work out. That is not how commitment works." The next day brought the tense first meeting at my parents' house. The children's reactions were as complicated as I had expected. Emma was initially standoffish, her small face tight with hurt, while Luke threw himself into his mother's arms, unaware of the complex adult dynamics at play. As Allison played with them in the living room, I watched from the kitchen, a strange detachment replacing the raw pain of the previous days. She looked different, somehow smaller and less certain than the woman who had shared my life for 8 years. When the children went outside with my father to play catch, Allison approached me, eyes red from crying. "I felt like I was disappearing in this life, Kent," she said. "Like I was just a mother and wife with nothing left of the person I used to be." I nodded, acknowledging her feelings without accepting her actions. "Your feelings were valid, Allison. Your actions were not. There were 1,000 better ways to address your discontent than abandoning your family." The following week, I arranged for the children to see a child psychologist specializing in parental abandonment issues. Dr. Harper provided strategies for helping them process their complex emotions and reassured me that with consistent support, children can develop resilience even in painful circumstances. "They take their cues from you," she advised. "Your stability is their anchor right now." With my lawyer's help, I drafted a formal separation agreement that prioritized the children's needs while protecting my interests. When presented with the document, Allison initially balked at the limited visitation rights, but her position was weakened by her abandonment. Eventually, she signed. 2 months after Allison's disappearance, I received a text message late one night. "It is over with Trevor. He ended things. Can we talk about me coming home?" I sat with that message for a long time before responding, "This is not home for you anymore, Allison. We can revisit the custody arrangement if you want more time with the kids, but our marriage is over." Her reply came quickly. "You cannot just throw away 8 years of marriage." "I did not," I texted back. "You did." There is a difference between forgiveness and restoration. I can forgive you eventually for the children's sake and my own peace, but some broken things cannot be restored to their original form. 3 months after she left the children, and I had established a new normal. Emma had joined a youth theater program that she loved, and Luke had started t-ball. We had Friday movie nights, with homemade pizza, and Sunday morning pancake breakfasts. Small traditions that created security in their disrupted world. I started dating cautiously, meeting Diana, a widowed teacher from Emma's school, for coffee a few times. Her gentle understanding of our situation and genuine connection with the children made her easy to talk to. We took things slowly, both carrying our past experiences into this new friendship. 6 months after Allison walked out, we finalized a co-parenting arrangement that seemed to work. She had found an apartment 20 minutes away and had the children every other weekend. To her credit, once she accepted the reality of our situation, she committed to being consistently present in their lives. Through therapy and self-reflection, I came to understand that while I could not have prevented Allison's choice, there were warning signs I had ignored. We had grown apart over the years, taking each other for granted, failing to nurture our connection as we focused on parenting and careers. It was not an excuse for her betrayal, but it was a lesson I would carry forward. The family we had built did not break entirely, it transformed. Different, but not destroyed. The children gradually adapted to their new reality with 2 homes and separate parents who communicated civilly for their benefit. I learned that true strength is not found in the absence of pain, but in how we respond to it. In choosing growth over bitterness, presence over retreat, and love over fear, even when that love needs to take a different form than we had planned. Have you ever had to rebuild after someone walked away? Share your story in the comments below. If this journey resonated with you, please hit the subscribe button and like this video so others facing similar challenges can find it. Consider sharing with someone who might need to hear that they are not alone in their struggle. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember that sometimes the people who leave create the space for something better to enter your life. I hope my experience helps someone feel less alone on their own path to healing.